Angels are usually associated with a bunch of pretty good things. Messengers of heaven, God's chosen army, pretty folks in white dresses with wings. But that's more of the modern interpretation of these celestial beings. If we take a look at the biblical representation of angels, we often find a much more cosmic depiction. And it's often pretty freaky. Shapeless, full of eyeballs, and meant to carry the wrath of God himself, angels aren't the cherubic choir boys we might imagine. And thanks to this, a lot of them are much scarier than the demons often referenced in horror. So sit back, relax, and listen for the bells. It's time for the top 5 angels that are worse than demons. Now, before we start this video, I just want to shout out Peach, a brand new channel that we're launching featuring the one and only Lindsay Ivan. So if you're a fan of the stuff she's done on this channel or any of our other channels, make sure you go and check that out right now. Subscribe so you know when the first video drops. Right on. Coming in at number 5, we've got the Cherubim. A mainstay in the home decor of grandmothers and churchgoers everywhere, folks tend to love cherubs. They've got chubby little cheeks, lovely little wings, and a whole lot of resemblance to babies. Unlike babies though, cherubs tend not to scream and cry and crap everywhere, which might actually be part of their appeal. But these angels are not as they seem. Sure, they gained quite a bit of popularity in art that depicts them as lovable little lads and lasses, but that's not really what they're supposed to look like. A lot less people would want to hang them in their homes if they actually resembled the way they're described in some texts. So their quasi-human form is about the only part they got right. Otherwise, cherubim are jam-packed with terrible features that would probably give kids nightmares. First off, they don't have just one face, they have 4. One of a human, one of a lion, one of an ox, and one of an eagle. That's a lot of freaky faces. Add in 4 wings and you've got a wild and crazy creature. But the basic appearance of these things is just the beginning. Those who behold the cherub might notice that it always appears as if it's on fire, you know, for reasons. And apparently they were often accompanied by another indecipherable being. A half machine, half creature full of whirling crystalline forms, these interlocking wheels stared down upon folks with hundreds of eyes that covered their entire bodies. Imagine that, being visited by an angel, and instead of seeing a calming, serene humanoid dressed in white, you're greeted by some awful chimeric abomination and its pet crystalline wheel. Insanity. No wonder folks who claim to have seen angels went nuts. Although I think it would be pretty wicked if grandmas started putting art up of these cherubs in their bathrooms. Coming at number 4, Seraphim. Keeping with the theme of Ims for a second, now we've got another order of angels that are a whole lot freakier than we often give them credit for. Seraphim are flying serpents. What else do I need to say, honestly? I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that folks don't often associate flying snakes with angels, but here we are. These winged, wiggly forces are meant to hover above God's throne, singing about how excellent and divine and fantastic he is, which is all well and good, but just think about that for a second. Why would God, the Almighty, the creator of everything and all that is good, need a bunch of snakes to fly around literally singing his praises? It seems like they're doing their best to convince anybody who might hear of it. Who else needs a PR team running around making sure that everyone believes they're actually really good? In addition to their sketchy job descriptions, they're just plain weird looking. They fly around with 6 wings sprouting from their backs, 2 for their actual airborne maneuvers and 4 to cover their faces. Oh, and also their feet. Yes, these flying, praise-ridden snakes also have feet. So are they dragons, or do they just have like little feet dangling out by their tails? Unless you personally plan on meeting some angels, we may never know for sure, but that image is not a good one. In some writings on celestial hierarchy, the seraphim are described as such. The name seraphim clearly indicates their ceaseless and eternal revolution about divine principles, their heat and keenness, the exuberance of their intense, perpetual, tireless activity, and their elevative and energetic assimilation of those below, kindling them and firing them to their own heat, and wholly purifying them by a burning and all-consuming flame, and by the unhidden, unquenchable, changeless, radiant, and enlightening power, dispelling and destroying the shadows of darkness. So if you've ever found yourself influenced by the shadows of darkness, good luck. You know, demons tend to do their best to influence good people to do bad things, but they can, usually be resisted. Angels seem to just want to destroy anything that goes against their vision of holiness. Food for thought. Coming in at number 3, we've got the Watchers. First of all, any organization known as the Watchers is gonna be creepy. That's just creepy names 101. Second, you know Noah's Ark? The story of God telling his chosen dude that he's gonna flood the whole world in order to hard reset all the sin that's accumulated? Well, the Watchers can essentially be blamed for all that sin. This group of angels managed to fly under God's radar for a while and made their way down to Earth. See, the Watchers saw some of the beautiful women on Earth and found themselves unable to really focus on anything else. Wanting to marry these mortals, the Watchers rebelled against the rest of heaven and went down to Earth to have a good time. While there, they lived hedonistic, overly sexual lives and taught humans secret knowledge too. It's said that the Watchers were the first to teach people about weapons, which obviously ended up in brutal violence. Also, the kids they had with human mothers turned out to be a little abnormal. You might be conjuring up images of Greek demigods right now, but that's not the case with Christianity. Instead, these human-angel hybrids turned into 1,000-foot tall abominations and started killing and eating people. They also forced humans into slavery in order to produce more food, which, good stuff. Way to go, Watchers. Very responsible. Teaching these lower beings about weapons and makeup and then breeding them to make ungodly abominations. In the end, though, God did take revenge and lock these angels away, but damn. Not even the devil could come up with a plot to so thoroughly f everything up. Coming at number 2, we've got Belial. If you're a fan of this channel, you've probably heard this name before. However, we don't usually talk about Belial in a biblical context. Now, we're talking about Basket Case, a classic. However, the surgically removed basket-dwelling monster got his name from this horrific angel. Fitting, especially when you realize what the original Belial got up to. Created right after Lucifer, he was one of the first angels to revolt against God, and that's just the start too. Belial led an army against Michael, resulting in untold amounts of carnage. Each army took 3 wins, and only during the 7th battle did God intervene because he wanted to make sure that Belial lost. For an angel to revolt against the others and then do unspeakable things against the others during battle, that takes a lot of power, and lots of terrifying evil too. Man, even the strongest from hell were once angels, eh? And coming in at number 1, we've got Raphael. To round it all out, let's discuss how even the holiest of forces are capable of the absolute cruelest of acts, like unimaginable torture that lasts lifetimes. I guess we already knew all that thanks to Dante's Inferno, but let's take a look at a very specific, pointed act of malice for a second. Raphael. Although he's not one of the named angels in the New Testament, he has become associated with healing and stirring the pool of Bethesda. However, just because he's associated with healing doesn't mean he can't bring the pain. Known for fighting the demon Azazel, he eventually triumphed over this force of evil. So what'd he do when he won? Did he banish the demon, purify its soul? Nope. He bound their hands and feet together, found a big hole in the desert full of rocks, and then cast the demon into this pit. Apparently, that demon waits there until the day of judgment, when he will then subsequently be cast into a pit of fire. Holy smokes, that is a hardcore punishment. I guess the demon deserved it in some way, but geez Louise, that's just gotta suck. I'm not sure if folks should find it comforting or not that these supposedly holy beings are so absolutely terrifying. Like, if you ever saw one with your own 2 eyes, it might have a Lovecraftian madness-inducing effect on you. Seriously, angels are scary. So, what'd you think of my list? Do you agree with my picks? What angels have you heard are scarier than advertised? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more pernicious ones from the top 5 urban legends that deserve your attention. Just some Bigfoot with internet access says the legends about us Sasquatches deserve attention. Bigfoot, we give you enough attention as is. Maybe give the skunk ape some time in the sun. Astoru says, from where I'm from, there's an urban legend about a family of self-segmenting viscera suckers. It's said that this family have to move from place to place whenever their identities were made known, so it's rather difficult to keep track as to who they are now and what identity they're assuming to be. Well, that's absolutely terrifying. Mcron says, true story. I once delivered a 13th kid of a middle-aged matriarch. The delivery was completed before I'd even finished registering her in the delivery suite's records. She discharged herself the very next day with baby in hand, never having seen a doctor for the whole pregnancy. So do you think she was giving birth to a devil? And Nathan Rosales says, the legend of Siren Head deserve attention. We love Siren Head here. Just make sure to check out some of our Trevor Henderson videos. And that's all the time we have for today. I'm going to roll some oxygen cylinders down a rocky hill. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Not even the devil himself could come up with a plot to so thoroughly. Not even a demon could come up with a plot to so thoroughly everything up. I'm not saying this line correctly. Why does it sound so funny coming out of my mouth? Not even a demon could come up with a plot to known for fighting the demon Azazel. How do I say this one again? Azazel. Oh,